Hello, I come to you today with another tag video, this time the Birthstone Book Tag. I was tagged by Eva over at Fred Weasley Dies Laughing. Look at that beautiful smiley face, give it a click and go over to her channel. Eva has such a lovely sort of calming, soothing voice. I think I could just listen to it like all day. And yeah, she has quite a wide range in book taste, and she gets through a lot as well. So there's sort of weekly hauls and book tags and some discussion videos and a mix of everything. So yeah, go give her a click. Onto these questions, because there's 12 of them and this is going to get long really quickly. I'm going to be reading off of my trusty Kindle to help me out. January, Garnet. Associated with warding off negative forces and dark energies, name a book with the darkest, evilest character you can think of. I don't seem to remember any books with really dark, evil characters that I've read. That could be because my memory is shockingly bad, or that just I don't read very dark, twisty books, I'm not sure. But since I try and mention it in every single video, I'm going to go with Vincent from the first 15 Lives of Harry August. I love this book. Can't really tell you why Vincent is evil because that would be a huge, massive spoiler. You'll just have to go and read the book to find out. February, Amethyst. Purple is associated with royalty. Name a book with regal qualities. Queen of the Teeling by Erica Johnson took me by surprise because of sort of the length and depth of it, and I think that you have to have sort of longevity and depth to be a monarch, maybe? I'm taking this as more monarchical of the monarchy. But it was also a much sort of slow-paced and more political book than I anticipated. I think that happens a lot as well with sort of royalty. People can look and think, oh, it's just going to be all sparkles and bling and you get to be driven around and travel around the world and it's fine, and it's not. You actually have to know a lot about the political ins and outs of countries that you're visiting or that are coming to you, and life is sort of a lot more bogged down than you think it's going to be. So I think, yeah, Queen of the Feeling by Erica Johnson fits this rather well. March, Aquamarine, Washed Out. Name a wishy-washy character, a character who is not strong or a follower. The character I've chosen for this probably isn't wishy-washy exactly, he's like a little bit of a flake and a little bit, he's a lovable bumbling fool, and that is Hastings from Agatha Christie's Poirot series. I just love him so much. He just thinks he's being sort of clever and sly and subtle all of the time, and he's not. Hugh Fraser, who plays the part of Hastings in the Granada TV series of Poirot, which stars David Suchet as Poirot, he just does such an amazing job of bringing out that sort of very lovable but very flaky, idiotic part of Hastings. I always remember there's a scene where he sat at a dinner table and he thinks he's sort of covertly checking out each of the suspects in turn, and one of the ladies comes up to him afterwards and is like, are you okay? You seemed really zoned out and you were just sort of like staring around the table. And I just think that's sort of the perfect example of Hastings. April, Diamond, A Diamond in the Rough. Name a book that you loved but is not well known. Knowledge of Angels by Jill Peyton Walsh is probably one of my absolute favourite books of all time, and I don't think that many people have heard of it. I had to study it for my college English literature, so maybe if you did UK college English literature in like 2003, whenever I was at college, you might have read it, but otherwise I've not come across anyone else who really knows about it. It is all about whether the belief in God or higher power of being is innate. So it's set on an island in about 1700s where you have to have a religion, and this guy gets washed up, and it turns out he's from a society who are all atheists. So he gets locked up, sent to prison, but the mayor takes like an interest in him and they have a lot of philosophical debates about God and high power and destiny and all those sorts of things. Meanwhile, there's a girl who's been found in the forest who's been raised by wolves. She gets taken into a convent by these nuns, and she's sort of used as an experiment to see if the knowledge of God is innate or not, because she's not had contact with any humans who could sort of nurture her into the belief. And yeah, it's sort of follow these two paths. It's really, really good. It's really interesting. There's some great, ideas raised and debates of sort of both sides. So if you have read it, let me know down below. I'd love to chat to someone who has read it, and if not, why don't you read it and then we can talk about it. May, Emerald, said to balance energy. Name two characters who balance each other well. might as well bring a little bit of steampunk into this and say The Ministry of Peculiar Occurrences by Pip Valentine and T. Morris. There's two main characters, a man and a woman called Books and Brawn, so you can imagine one of them is quite a geeky, knowledgeable character, and one of them is very gung-ho and likes her action, and yeah, obviously they balance each other out very well across their sort of knowledge base and physical abilities. I think a lot of steampunk books are like this. The Newbery and Hobbs series by George Mann is the same. Newbery and Hobbs, one is sort of like blustering action man and the other is his sort of like demure assistant, and although they do change over time, to start with it is that sort of very sort of carbon copy characters, but I think you get that a lot in steampunk, and I just really enjoy it. I think if it's still written well and you have a lot of sort of adventure and humour in there, that to me is a lot what steampunk is about, or the particular genres, subgenres of steampunk that I read. I'm not looking for any great literary masterpieces, it's just a bit of fun. June Pearl, associated with loyalty. Name a character who is loyal to the end. I'm sure there are some good examples of this, but I can't think of any. The only one I can think of is in a series that I'm currently reading the last book of, so it might not be accurate. I'm going to say Severo from the Red Rising series. Again, there may be some sort of horrible twisty turn at the end that means that this is an incorrect answer, but I haven't got there yet. July, Ruby, Blood Red. Name a book that made your blood boil, one that made you angry. There's probably loads of these books, but I tend to get angry at books not because they bring up an issue that should make me angry, but usually because I get angry at the way it's written or what the author's done or whatever. So either Cell by Stephen King, because that's not an ending, mate. It's not an ending. I think I've spoken about this before, but yeah, paid for a beginning, a middle and an end of the book, and I only got two of those things, so The second is All the Birds in the Sky by, is it Charlie Anders? Because just the metaphors and similes she used just were stupid, and everyone was loving the book and I just hated it, and it was just anger all the way through. It was just stupid and didn't make sense, and August Peridot, pale green, it pales in comparison to other gems. Name a supporting character who you like better than the main character. I really love Professor Lyle from the Parasol Protectorate series by Gail Carriger. He is the beta werewolf in the pack. Who doesn't love gay academic werewolves? Like, what's not to love? September Sapphire, blue like the ocean, which is calming. Name a book that had a calming effect on you. I can't really think of anything that has a calming effect particularly. I'm gonna go for something that maybe sort of like comforts me. So this is a bit of an odd choice probably, but I'm gonna go with Veronica Decides to Die by Paula Coelho. It's about a woman who decides to kill herself. Unfortunately, depending on which way you fall in the whole issue, she doesn't succeed. However, upon waking up, she is told that she has damaged her body so severely that she only has 3 days to live, and she has to sort of process that. It is an oddly uplifting tale, I promise. Yeah, I think sometimes it's comforting and nice to read about maybe things that have happened to you or people that you know. I think sometimes it's comforting to know that there's other people out there that think certain things. October Opal, Iridescent. Name an iridescent book, a book with a beautiful cover. Well, there are lots of beautiful covers out there, so I'm just gonna like spam you with some now, and yeah, because I'm not choosing one out of all of these beautiful things. November, Topaz, associated with resilience. Name a book with a character who rises to the top in a time of adversity. I'm going to choose The End of the World Running Club by Adrian J. Walker. This is a apocalyptic style novel. The start of the book is the like downfall of society, and then the main guy Edgar gets taken to a rescue camp with his family, and then he gets separated from his wife and daughter and finds out that they've been taken to the other end of the country, well, more than one country, because he's in Scotland and they get taken right down to the south coast of England, and he decides the only way to get there is to run all the way down to find them, and he starts off as a bit of a useless, slobby husband and father, and it's sort of how he has to come to terms with the fact that he is a bit of a useless, slobby father and has to step up in order to be able to find his family again and be with them again. December Blue Zircon, associated with friendship. Name a book with a friendship you want to be a part of. I really like those sort of American college or English university academic high society friendship groups, which sounds a little bit weird. I'm thinking like The Secret History by Janet Hart or Bellwether Revivals by Benjamin Wood, that sort of vibe. One of those groups of hoity-toity privileged people. I would just, yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. So there we are. Hopefully I haven't rambled too much and can edit this down to a normal length video. Until next time, ta-ta!